Sherry Dobbin is a partner of the placemaking agency Future City and chair of the Urban Art Forum for the Urban Land Institute. Before coming to London, she created Times Square Arts and was creative director for the Times Square Alliance Business Improvement District, which carried out the transformation of Times Square, one of the highest profile public space projects of any city. So Sherry, you've been working on the Cultural Heart of London project, which includes a range of great ideas like the Gallery Without Walls, and that's got the aim of getting people back into the centre of London. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Sure, it's a cultural strategy that Future City created with the bid. And they are really looking at how to take advantage of the incredible resources that they have in the center of London. And also to realize that they are a very, very strong cultural and creative district unto itself. But very often what happens with bids is people come with a variety of ideas, different process, different approach. And what they found was that if they could have a more definitive strategy and also process actually for bringing people forward, they could generate better ideas in partnership, also generate better partnerships and ensure that the work that's inside the institutions comes out into the street. So really, it's a way of thinking about how the city or that part of the city itself is a cultural institution. Because many of the assets there in the center of London, it's either a theater, so that's behind closed doors, or the RA is behind that door, the National Gallery behind that door. And so it's really thinking about how those institutions have a presence throughout their district and remind people that the whole area is actually very, very rich and that it has a strong relationship to commerce. So one of the things that we created with them was something called the 5 C's process. And that's about how culture can be the sort of adhesive between commercial, civic, community, and consumer audiences. That is a common denominator that can bring people out together and have them cross over so that we're not in our isolated or siloed approaches and we really understand about that rich mix that happens in the center of a very dense city.
So talking about central city areas, I mean, how do you see the cultural landscape of London and indeed other cities post-COVID? I mean, will there be a rebalancing away from the centre, as some people are suggesting might be the case with office work? I mean, for instance, I'm thinking that Walthamstow is now working with the Soho Theatre on a new live performance space, and where I am here in West London, a new cinema is opening, and we haven't had one of those here for 50 years.
Yep, I think there are a couple of things going on. I mean, one, of course, what COVID did was provided the largest global experiment in what happens when you remove culture from our daily life, right? We've never seen it be completely absent before. So one of the things that everybody is realizing from this benchmark is how important it is and how important it is in every aspect of our life. People are reconnecting to the community that they live in. There's so many people who have been working long hours and commuting so often that they barely see the area that they live in. Now that they're engaging with it more, becoming more involved, even volunteering, they want to have these amenities where they live as well. They want to see it as part of their life. So I don't know that it's going to be one versus the other. I don't think it's as simple as a binary. It is going to be that there is going to be a desire for either edge cities or smaller cities to really celebrate themselves. But also the center of cities, we're working on a few developments that are going to have a large component of office. They all want culture as a part of their offer because that's going to be part of what brings people back into the office. And as far as the cultural sector is concerned, those organizations are going to need to think about how they share and partner with each other. And certain organizations that have been in the center of a city are now going to be more open to thinking about a purpose-built building in another part of either a different city or another part outside of the city or in a different neighborhood they hadn't considered before. I mean, certainly, we've found that we helped the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra now have a permanent home at Wembley. And one wouldn't have necessarily thought that a fine arts institution would want to be present there. But fine arts, the symphonic music is crossing over with esports and gaming culture, which is more related to the music industry and popular music industry. And it's much more of a mix now. I think we're breaking down sort of hierarchies and class structures within culture, which mean that we'll want to see it in different ways. And then also the larger national institutions have a real desire to connect with communities. And sometimes they have stronger relationships in more residential areas. So I think we're going to find a lot more outposts of national institutions. And we're also going to find a lot more ideas of touring that is going to happen. That is going to be encouraged and enhanced. And we already see it in Arts Council funding that's going on.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So what else is Future City doing? I mean, you're a global business, and so how has COVID inspired innovation internationally, and how has it positioned Future City's sort of emphasis?
Yes, I mean, it's funny. There are some moments now, some days now, where I start in the South Bank in Melbourne and end up in the South Bank of London, as far as our clients. So one thing that has happened with COVID is that we've all embraced, this digital relationship. So existing clients that we've had and projects that we've had, people we know and places we already know, we can continue those international projects because we've already been there and we've known it, and then we're helping to facilitate, and we can also bring a lot more of the connections, with London. But the other thing that it's seen is a stronger connection to the city itself. More clients coming forward. I mean, we've all seen the new London plan. It's incredibly supportive of culture, and also understanding how culture integrates with healthy streets as well as skills and employment. It's not just a separate, isolated aspect of heritage delivery now. It crosses over everything, even considering our transport infrastructure, our office working, et cetera. So we've found now that, we are working on the South Bank, we're working in the City of London, we're also working in build-to-rent schemes like East Village and Wembley. So we've found that actually there is a real strong, not only desire, but need to understand what is the right cultural fit for each part of the city. What's right for the type of building? What's right for the arts sector, actually, as far as which building they should be partnered to? So we've also been spending a lot more time looking at how we create those connections between cultural institutions that need homes and potential homes, and trying to not force fit them, but really find ones that match up with a shared interest in either that specific part of the city, or maybe it's access to great residential neighborhoods, or it's actually the type of building or space that really works for the art form that needs a home. So we've been spending a lot more time bringing together and really understanding how to meaningfully include culture in development.
So you write in the Routledge Handbook of Placemaking, which is just out, that we bring artists to inspire and surprise us and to make us think more fully. But it also has a role, as in the Heart of London project, of drawing people together. So how do you balance the sort of questioning nature of artists with the commercial demands of clients?
Yes, well, the sentence that follows that is also, if the choices are guided by the vision and the place's core values, then the projects are grounded in that content, and therefore it allows the artists the freedom to explore. And I think it's about process, Peter, as much as it is what we want to see as a product. So in the process, it's giving the artist the problem as soon as possible, right? They're going to question. They love questioning. They love being able to investigate, and they love being able to put that together with a new narrative. So involve the artist when you've got the problem. Be honest with them. Be transparent and say, here's our challenge. Here's where we'd like to get to. Then that allows them, once you have constraints, it allows them the freedom within those constraints. Artists and commercial developers, they want people. They both want people. They both have a practice of taking risk. They have to put forward a huge investment, whether it's their time or their intellectual thought, or whether it's their money. They share that desire to risk. And really, they're looking for creating better experiences in places. So that's what we have to find, is that commonality, and then really encourage it. and give it some connection to the actual place and the people that either exist or are going to be the new residents or visitors. And then you've got a winning combination.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Well, thank you, Sherry, for your comments. And I really look forward to getting back into the West End and seeing the gallery without walls, which will bring life and vitality back into the centre. Thank you very much.
Yes, and you can check out their website, Art of London, which will tell you about all of those activities. Thank you, Peter, so much for this time.